Jade lady weaves the shuttle. The biggest issue people have with this one often comes down to angles and footwork. So in the 24 forms, if you're familiar with that choreography, you'll come from the golden rooster position, step to the side, and the Jade lady weaves the shuttle. Then to the other side. And what will often happen is that people will be in the habit of stepping straight forward onto the bow stance, and then they'll be trying to push to the side, and so they feel too twisted through the waist. The pushing position is the same. We've done it in a few other positions already, brush, knee and push, or if you've got both hands pushing, the push is the same. So if you're trying to go across the body, it'll feel weird, and the key then is angling the stance. So now we're pushing to the side, but the stance is angled to the side. And it functions very similarly as brush, knee and push. With brush, knee, we block down and push. With the Jade lady, we block up and to the side and push. So if you imagine a punch is coming straight towards your face, we're blocking either up or a little bit out to the side. We're clearing that either with the forearm or the hand and stepping through to push. So the position of the pushing hand is the same, the bow stance is the same, it's just that we've shifted this hand to the side. And sometimes you'll see people pushing a little bit more out to the side, sometimes a little further overhead. That'll vary a little bit style to style, but that application, that sense of purpose behind the movement is the same. And so if you've got a sense that you know what you're doing with the technique, you can adjust it a little bit to suit your body and circumstances, and you still know that you'll be getting the essence right. So what we want to look at in creating that right shape is getting the feet in a good position. If you're in a fairly low stance, when you step to the side, you'll step kind of on a forwards angle. Boom. So I'm still forwards, coming into a deeper stance. But if you're on a higher stance, you actually step quite flat. So from here, you'll step across almost straight out to the side. And on a high stance, this puts my bow stance now nicely at about 45 degrees, and I'm in a good position for the push. But if you look at the alignment of my feet, they're almost on a flat line. So you'll often find you want to step a little bit more sideways than you even think you're going to. The temptation will always be to step forwards and turn too far. So if you make sure you get the feet right, the rest of the body will follow. You can practice the legs just by themselves. 1, 2, 3, pivot into the bow stance. And then when it comes to the next step, you don't need to rock all the way back to deload the front leg. Sometimes you'll see people do that. Sometimes they'll just do this little technique, which gives them time to synchronize with the hands. So you don't really need to reposition that foot because we're stepping onto an angle. You can adjust it afterwards if you like, as you're moving into the bow stance. But you'll find the stepping it can be a little bit softer in some ways. And so the simplest version, the simplest technique with the hands, really from this position, you maintain a similar distance between the hands, and you're just dropping them down in front of the chest, turning the one palm under, but this hand, really doesn't do much. So again, the body wants to do a bit more than is necessary. From here, little transfer with the weight, boom. And if you're turning the waist, you'll get a little bit more movement. But if you cut it down to its very base element, all the hands are really doing is coming down in front. And then we roll with the bottom hand through and push. Almost as if you're tossing a ball. Now, if you're familiar with the waist turn movement, you'll notice this comes into the technique as well. You can practice this either leading with the upper elbow turning to the side, or with the hand turning across the body, moving inwards. For our purposes, we want to be leading with the elbow out to the side, and you can use this technique to link, to practice the Jade lady weave shuttle in a stationary sense. So in the form, we'll step through and push. So you've got a little sense of that turning the waist technique here. But if you want to do continuous on one side, if you're limited for space and you just want to practice the technique, from here we start off turning a little to the side, then come back and press again. So palms down, back, and press. Palms down, turn the waist, and press. You can exaggerate the movement a little bit with the waist if you like. I'm exaggerating it a little bit, just for a sense of that translating hopefully onto the video. But the movement can be very small or very large depending on the style you practice.